Hi, everyone. Diane with Supermums, customer success coach. And I am joined again by my partner in crime, Maria Stanford, customer success coach in the UK. And today we wanted to come and talk to you about a new course offering that we have here at Supermoms that may be appropriate for some individuals that are just starting to get into, or not just starting to get into Salesforce, but those of you that may be thinking about getting some better training in Salesforce. And let's talk about this, Maria. It's called our Essentials Admin course. And maybe you can just say a couple words about what exactly this course is.
Absolutely. It's always nice to be here with you on a Wednesday,
Yes.
especially when it's so dark and miserable out where I am here in the UK. I'm very jealous of your life. So it's really exciting because we are doing a new course offering, and I think that's a really nice to be able to, I think, for us, take on some feedback, Diane, and certainly when we hear and speak to people on a daily basis, we do actually speak to people who are kind of not necessarily doing that career change, which is
Right.
obviously what our ultimate admin course is really catered for, but actually the people that are working within the Salesforce ecosystem already and have become accidental admins. And
Yes, correct.
this does happen. I mean, I've actually spoken to a few people even just this week where they are kind of in that role, where they've landed that role, or they've inherited it, perhaps because somebody's left, or they've just been the right fit with the knowledge that they have to go into that Salesforce role, but actually have had no official training.
Right. They've
Potentially.
kind of been put in that role,
Yeah.
and maybe their manager has tasked them with, you're the person that's going to be responsible for Salesforce now in our organization. And I kind of, again, when I was introducing this, we're so used to talking about to those individuals that are starting and going into the new career within Salesforce and really need to understand the foundationals, the foundations of Salesforce. And we have our 6-month admin, ultimate admin course. But you're right. We also talk to individuals that are like, I'm not confident in my Salesforce abilities, and my organization just told me that I am going to be the admin for this system, and I need to learn. I need to learn the system. What can I do? What options do you have? So now with this course, it's a good option for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think kind of when we've both probably spoken to people in the past, there are key elements to our ultimate admin that we know are the keys for success in being able to kind of break into that ecosystem. One of them being work experience, right? So this allows people who are already within that Salesforce ecosystem, who have access to Salesforce, who are working in Salesforce and don't necessarily need that work experience. It allows them to kind of do that shorter 12-week course that gives them all of those key competencies to be able to go through weekly and start to implement them within their own org. But actually, it allows them to then go and sit that Salesforce examination at the end of those 12 weeks.
Right.
So there's certainly sort of support that, people who are just breaking into that ecosystem need. And that is different when you're already working in that. You don't necessarily need to have the work experience, do you, Diane?
Right.
Or
Right.
actually, you might already have a mentor within that, within your company.
Right. I think it's just more about building that confidence because you really don't know a lot about the system. You might just be, again, tasked with being the person to handle that system, but you really need a little bit more in-depth training. So you still get the benefit in that course of having our live training, right? So we still have our instructor that is conducting live training with you. You're still part of that cohort. So you'll be a part of the cohort of the class that's learning alongside of you. You just might not need, again, to have that work experience and to have that maybe one-on-one mentorship because you have that where you're working, but you need to get certified, you need to learn Salesforce, and you'd like to do it in a shorter time period. So again, this Essential Admin course allows you to do that. It's a 3-month course in length, but again, you still get all the benefits that Supermoms provides for you with that live instructor, in-depth knowledge of Supermoms and a chance for you to listen in, again, ask questions live, see demonstrations, and help with your certification for the exam.
Yeah, and I think you raise a really good point, actually, Diane, it is around confidence, isn't it? And actually, if you're thinking you're in that role, you're generally perhaps exploring Trailhead, or you've probably already got a Trailhead account.
Mm-hmm.
But as we know, it's not quite as easy as going through Trailhead and having that theoretical learning. So the fact that you've got a live trainer and you're actually doing hands-on hands-on each week through those live trainings, that gives you that advantage to have that hands-on experience, but really be experimenting in your own organization and your own org.
Right.
Which is really important, isn't it? So
right. So there was a need. We saw that from people that we talked to that are just kind of lost and not sure what their options are. So we wanted to make sure that that was available for individuals. And just as much as we talk about, okay, here's the appropriate person for taking that 3-month course and that essential course, who would not be the right person, or who would you not suggest that 3-month essential admin course to?
I think we have a great advantage with having our recruitment team who can feed back to what employers are really looking for. And I would say somebody who is completely brand new to the Salesforce ecosystem and having that real career transition into that area, it's probably not going to be the right fit, because we know that, as we said, we know that these key pieces are really kind of going to give you that success stepping into that area. So things like work experience, we know that employers are looking for, a little bit of experience, potentially, transferable skills, and that admin cert. So, these are key things that are going to allow a new starter within that ecosystem take those first steps. Certainly, if you haven't got those, it's going to be difficult. It's going, I'm not saying that you can't go and do it, but it's going to be more challenging if you don't have that experience or you haven't built up that confidence to be able to allow you to take those first steps potentially.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too. Spreading it out over the training over a longer course and over those 5 to 6 months really is an advantage, because you are building up that confidence from week to week, and you're getting that weekly mentorship, you're getting that work experience. So you're confident and ready. And I know one of the things that you brought up was employers. Employers tell us that our Supermoms are very well prepared, right? They've got the good training, but they're also confident in their abilities. So again, if you're shifting careers, thinking about getting into Salesforce, it really is advantageous for you to take that full length course, because we give you the most support that we can, help you transition into that career, and you feel confident when you come out of our program. But again, there's a place to do for the 3-month training and for that accelerated training for individuals that really just, again, you're tasked with being the admin of your organization. You're the accidental admin, but you need to learn Salesforce. You need to get certified. And perhaps even it's an opportunity for your company to even sponsor your investment in that course, right? I mean, that's what we've seen too. Individuals taking this, your organization may provide, funds for you to be able to skill up in this course. So it's a great way to talk to your employer about that and see if, again, they can make that investment in you for the 3-month course.
Yeah, it's definitely a great investment, because I kind of think there are two things here for people that go through our 6-month course. I always say, once you finish those, those foundations, so those first 12 weeks, when you get into your work experience, this is a great opportunity for you to start testing out those skills and also see where those knowledge gaps are. And I kind of think on the other side of that, if you are an accidental admin or you're working as an admin within that Salesforce space, and you've just perhaps got those areas that you're not quite sure on, that you're not quite confident on, you can kind of plug those knowledge gaps with the course.
Right, right. And maybe there's a more efficient way to do
Yeah,
the work that you're doing. I think that
absolutely.
happens a lot when we get into situations where we're tasked to learn a program. We kind of do it our way, right?
Yeah.
We figure out how to learn it. But when you're actually going through the training program, you start thinking, oh, you know what? That's the correct way to do it. Or maybe this is a time saving way to do it. Or I didn't even realize that I could do that. So again, leaving it up to yourself, your learning curve might be a little bit longer. If you take the course that's 3 months, you're going to learn a lot more of the tips and techniques from our instructor on, what you should know about Salesforce, and it might save you some time and some frustration. So that's an important thing to keep in mind as well.
Yeah, and I think from an employer's perspective, that's a great investment to make, isn't it? To make sure that whoever you've got looking after your org is actually one, qualified and certified,
Right.
but also making the best use of that CRM system and making
Right.
sure that return on investment and all of those end users are utilizing all of those tools.
Right.
And sometimes when you're kind of put into that situation, you don't necessarily know
You don't
what
know.
that
Right.
CRM can do. So you might have inherited it from somebody else. Somebody might have passed on their knowledge that perhaps
Right.
wasn't.
Their way of doing things.
Yeah, sometimes it's secondhand, isn't it, that
Right.
information? So actually, with part of that 3 month course, is you can get that really important foundational learning to
Hmm.
be able, to be able to go and then sit that examination. And then that also leads on to other areas, doesn't it, Diane, where you might
Hmm.
then want to upskill after that. Once
Right.
you've got those, once you've got that confidence there, you can then start to add other things to your role. And perhaps, there'll be other certifications that you might explore on the back of that.
Right. I think that's key. If you have a good learning experience and you're not
Yeah.
as frustrated, it's
Yeah.
going to be a better experience for you. So you're actually going to, instead of hating the system because you've been trying to work in it yourself and learn something, you actually might enjoy it because the learning experience has been a good one for you, and it builds up that confidence, but also makes you realize, okay, I did this. I can probably do more in this. I actually like this. When you're doing it the right way, you might
Right.
actually enjoy it and want to learn more. So I think that's a great point too.
Yeah.
And you're part of the community. It's great to be um, instantly part of our Supermoms community when you take one of our courses, because everybody's starting from similar places that you've started from and in similar situations. So it's like an instant connection that you make when you join our community.
Yeah. And I think also what's especially important about that is, certainly, I know that I've spoken to a few people that work within the charity sector who have inherited that Salesforce role, that
Right.
accidental admin role. And, that can be quite a lonely place sometimes. If you're the only person and you've
Mhm.
inherited something and you're
Right.
really not too sure where to go, or, kind of what those next steps, it's really nice to be able to have peers to be able to kind of express kind
Right.
of what's happening or those frustrations, isn't it? So
Right.
that, you can then work through them together, or somebody's done it, or, but whereas if you're kind of on your own,
Yeah.
that can be quite a lonely place. So actually having your peers around you is a great place to be while you're doing your learning. So it's kind of it is definitely a benefit, isn't it, to have that community.
A good support network to have so
Yeah.
that you don't have to complain to your employer
Yeah.
your frustrations. You could talk to other individuals and work through it. So that's a
So
great point.
yeah,
And
and
we have
troubleshoot.
and we're coming up soon, right? So we have our next training starting in the US on November the 15th. And we'll start our essentials, which is our 3 month training course. And then we also will have, it'll coincide at the same time with our 5 to 6 month ultimate course. And then in the UK, we start on November the 17th, correct?
17th.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So either
correct.
of those, right? You can register and sign up, still have availability. So you could still sign up for either of those. If you have more questions specifically on our 3 month course, or you just want to learn a little bit more about what might be a good fit for you, definitely reach out to us, Diane at supermoms.org, Maria at supermoms.org. Ask us about our classes, see what might be a better fit for you. Definitely don't feel scared to ask any question, right? We like to talk.
Absolutely.
We say this all the time. We like to talk. We like to share. We like to help. So definitely reach out to us, leave a comment if you want, and we'll get back to you on that as well. And we'll share what we know and in our experience, what might be a better fit for you for this course.
Yeah, and I think that's actually really important, Diane, isn't it? When we speak to people, we tend to have a better understanding of actually what path they could take, whether that's the
Right.
3 month or the 6 month, because, once we get to have an idea as to where you are, we can then help and guide you along that route as to what's going to provide you with the best support or the best option. I think what I like about the Essential Admin as well is obviously you get the live training, so you've got access to the training team, but you also do get some guidance, don't you, with trailheads to be able to complete that. And you also get access to our Boost Your Salesforce career modules. Which can really help, actually, especially when you're perhaps not been in that Salesforce space for long, or you're quite new to it. How do you actually then start to kind of brand yourself on
build your career, right? Understand your goals.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially because that path might not have been your original path, your original career path. So I think that's also important to have that support around, actually what this looks like for your career going forward.
I agree. And you brought up a really good point, and that was that, you can read about the course on paper, right? And see, what it's all about, but speaking to someone does help, because everyone has a unique situation. So that's kind of our job, is to uncover, who you are, what is your situation, what are your goals, and for us to really be honest with you and give you our opinion based on our experience, and both of us being coaches, what's going to be a better fit for you so that you're successful. I mean, that's our ultimate goal, is we want you to be successful. We don't want to just train you so that you have that nice, shiny certification. That's great. We want you to be prepared, confident, but we also want you to be successful. So we will give you, our opinion on that. Will help you decide what direction to go. And so all it takes is to reach out to us. We're very friendly and easy to talk to.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Our favorite pastime.
Yes, right, exactly. So we love to do that. We're happy to do that with anybody. We've seen a lot, and we've met with so many people. I'd say, we like to say that the majority of people that have signed up for our courses have been individuals that have talked to us so that, they understand what it is and why it's a good fit for them, or why it's not a good fit for them. So it's definitely advantageous for you to reach out to us and have that conversation. And it could be 5 minutes. It could be 10 minutes. It could be longer, but it could be quick too. That you might have some questions or some doubts, and we have an answer for you. So definitely reach out.
Yeah, there's not much that we've not heard, is there, Diane?
Yeah.
So there's so many different aspects and so many different things to think about. And I think, when you're kind of comparing, it's hard to compare kind of what might be right for you, as you say, on paper. But when you start to talk through it and you start to understand a little bit more about kind of what the benefits are to the 6 months course, because there are lots of benefits for somebody that is doing that career change, is brand new to that ecosystem. We know that they are the recipe for success to go, to go and have success in that ecosystem. But also kind of, you might not need all of that if you're already within Salesforce. So it is just about kind of asking those questions, isn't it? And we can then kind of determine, okay, what looks best, and how might, how can we support you then with that as an option going forward?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think that's great. So again, just to kind of wrap it up, we've talked about what our new Essential Admin course is. Our 3-month course that we are offering starting in November. It will start the week of November 14th. The US class will start on the 15th. The UK will start on the 17th. We will offer that alongside of our Ultimate Admin course, again, for those that are switching the careers, new to Salesforce. And that 3-month, again, key takeaway, I think, is if you found yourself in that situation where you need to get skilled in Salesforce, you might be an accidental admin, this could be a good fit for you. So reach out to us, ask us about it. it, post some comments, and we'll try to answer for you and let you know, again, if this is a good fit for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're watching on replay, we will make sure that we keep an eye on the comments so that we can come back to you and point you in the right direction for any further information.
And we'll be back here again next week.
You will. Same time.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Take care. Thanks,
All right.
Diane. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.